Today is November the 8th, 2017. I'm Keith War, and welcome to another episode of Homeless in Titusville. And today I'm being joined by, what is your name, sir?
Geoffrey Wang.
Geoffrey Wang. And Jeff, how old are you?
49.
49 years old. And are you a veteran?
No, I'm not.
So you've never been in the military. And where are you from originally?
Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn, New York. Okay. And did you go to school there? Did you,
I grew up in New Jersey, went to, back then it was called Stockton State College, Richard Stockton University now, just outside Atlantic City.
So you graduated high school from?
Well, yeah, I graduated from Piscataway High.
Okay, and that's in New Jersey?
Central Jersey.
Okay. So you're in that tri-state area, New York, New Jersey stuff.
Yeah, that's where I'm originally from.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Like, do you have any brothers and sisters?
I have one younger brother.
Okay. And how about your mom and dad? Are your parents still living?
I'm not sure about my dad. My mom lives in Marathon, in the Keys.
Oh, in the Keys. Okay. And how about yourself? Do you have any children? Do you have a wife?
I have one daughter.
You have
divorced.
A daughter. Okay. And how many years were you married?
Not very long.
Not very long.
Not very long.
2 years, 3 years?
That was a disaster. Maybe 2.
Okay. And your daughter, how old is your daughter right now?
20.
20 years old, okay. And when's the last time you'd seen your daughter?
A few months ago. I mean, she's in Claremont.
Oh, she is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the only reason I came back to Florida 3 years ago.
And how long have you been homeless now?
3 years since I came back to Florida.
Yeah. And what's the cause of your homelessness? What I want from you is I want you to be as brutally honest as possible. When you're thinking alone, you're with your own thoughts at night, what do you tell yourself your reason for your homelessness is?
Yeah, it was a serious chain of events, but eventually I just gave up trying.
So it's not from drinking? Are you homeless because you drink, or?
No.
No? Okay.
No. I mean, after my 20-year career in laser light shows, and that ended.
Yeah, tell me about your work history.
I was so burned out after 20 years of doing that. There was a mix-up in days. My boss was just really mad, and
Well, how long ago, when was the last laser show that you put on?
2011, 6 years ago.
Okay.
And
what kind of stuff did you do? We're talking about little small stuff, high school stuff. We're talking about for the state, for the government. What are we talking?
Theme parks. I did shows for Bill Clinton, President George H.W. Bush, Orange Bowl halftime show 3 times. But the first one I didn't actually happen because it was the first time the halftime show was canceled because of all the rain and the field conditions.
Did you own your own business, or did you work for somebody doing this?
No, I worked for somebody.
And what kind of a living did you make doing that? Did you get paid, a couple $100,000?
No, I didn't.
$10 an hour? What was the pay?
It wasn't very good considering what I did. I mean, by the end of it, I was, making $25 an hour.
Okay, well, some people would consider that pretty good. That's about $50,000 a year or so.
Yeah, but if I had gone into, corporate America, I'm sure I could have made a lot more, but I probably would have been absolutely miserable. I loved what I did. I never did it for the money.
So you like the laser light show stuff?
Oh, yeah. I mean, back in the 90s, I performed the shows live at the Orlando Science Center every Friday and Saturday, and I never even asked for any additional pay for doing it. I just loved doing it, so
Well, what was your job? What did you do? Did you program something? Did you design it, or did you just set it up? What was your role?
My main role was in production. I co-produced, and I was the main soundtrack engineer for a lot of our theme park shows.
Okay.
I did I did some of the visual design and programmed all of it. I mean, all the screen, all the beams.
Okay. And how did you get into that? Was it something that you wanted to do? Was it kind of accidental that you got into that?
I was a big fan of the laser shows at the Hayden Planetarium in New York City.
So you just kind of hung around those?
Back in the 80s.
So you hung around those guys and asked them, how can you get in there and do that?
No, I mean, I was around there for years. Rob Sparks was the laserist there at the time. It became kind of a hobby of mine. I put on some makeshift shows at the dorms in college,
Okay.
big old sheet on the side of the building for the screen, and
Fun stuff. You like entertaining people.
oh yeah, and it's, of course, blowing up a lot of Radio Shack servo motors, trying to make scanners out of them.
So you said you did this at college and stuff. What kind of education do you have? Have you been to college, like traditional college?
Yeah.
You've been to trade schools?
No, college. I mean,
And do you have a degree?
No.
You don't?
No, I went for computer science, but
Okay.
I warned my mother I never wanted to go to college in the first place.
So you did it to make mom happy? More or less.
Yeah, but eventually she kind of realized that, okay, I don't want to be there. I'm serious. I went computer science because I already knew what they were trying to teach me.
Right.
And with computers, shoot, I was doing assembly language programming when I was 15.
And you said your last name was
Wang.
Wang. So that is a Chinese name?
Yeah, my grandfather on my dad's side's Chinese.
Okay. So were they kind of traditional Chinese parents where they were really tough on you?
Oh, no. My mom's from Wisconsin. I'm
okay.
Irish, German.
Oh, okay.
My dad's Filipino Chinese. He's from the Philippines.
Oh, okay. So you didn't have that, as they call them, tiger mom type, you weren't raised like that.
No, I mean, I consider myself 100% red-blooded American. This is my country, this is my home.
Yeah, right, of course. But sometimes, those first-generation parents have those values that they bring from the old country.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, there was a lot of friction between my dad's side of the family and me. They said I'm too Americanized. I said, no, I'm not Americanized, I'm American.
Right, yeah, right. So what was it like growing up? Did you guys have a lot of money? Were you poor? Were you guys kind of working class?
I would guess would have been categorized as maybe lower middle class. I mean, my parents divorced when I was 7. I quickly had to learn how to cook, clean, do laundry, take care of a house and my little brother. Because, my mom sometimes worked 2 jobs to...
Yeah, to support you and stuff. Yeah, wow. So, you talk about doing the laser light show and stuff like that. Have you always kind of been artistic? Like, can you draw?
No.
Are you just more like a thinker, like you like plays and those kind of artistic stuff?
Well, laser is a very different medium. I mean, people used to ask what my main biggest strength was always abstract image programming, which I would kind of describe as visual mathematics.
Okay.
Somebody might, I might be working, with somebody else who might be producing. They'll describe a pattern to me. I've got to kind of, in my head, turn it into, a math equation to plot out an XY Cartesian coordinate system and then translate it into an electronic circuit that could be used to create and control it.
Wow. So this sounds very technical. You don't seem like a dummy to me. You seem like somebody, you have to be quite intelligent to be able to figure out this kind of stuff,
Well, that kind of came natural to me. I mean, all my life I've always dissected everything I see and try to break it down into its components to see how it ticks.
Now, how come you're not doing the laser light shows anymore? Why did that stop?
Father's Day weekend 2011, I was with my daughter for a few days. There was a mix-up in scheduling, and then my boss was all mad I didn't, I wasn't there. He never bothered to call me. We got into it, and, I said, look, either do or don't, But really, at that point, I was already so burned out on it. I mean, really, the last 2 years before that happened, I was on the verge of just walking away from it anyway.
So what kind of job did you go to after working that?
Well, it was a real shock getting back in the job market for the first time since 1989. That was a very rude shock.
So what did you do? Did you try fast food? What kind of...
I went to work for, after that, I left Florida. I was tired, of all the stupidity from my ex-wife and the job, Florida in general. Woman I'd known online for a long time, or we met in person. I mean, I took her to Niagara Falls one time and ended up hooking up with her. I ended up getting a job at Turkey Hill, a convenience store.
Okay. And how about her? Do you still know where she's at today? Like,
my ex-girlfriend, the one in Pennsylvania. Yeah, I know where.
Oh, she's in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I thought she came down here to Florida. With you.
No. I went up there. I was done with Florida. I swore I'd never come back here.
But here you are.
Well,
in Titusville of all places.
Yeah, my most recent girlfriend and I, we walked here from Orlando. We were determined we were gonna, cut out 50, go up the coast, get out of Florida, because she's been through similar marital and child hell that I've been through. I mean,
just challenges of life that most people have.
Kids being kept from you, and you love your kids, but you've got the other's parent just not cooperating, just trying to block everything at every turn.
Right.
That took a lot out of me. That's really what.
So does anybody in your family know that you're homeless? Does your mom know that you're homeless?
Oh, yeah.
And your girlfriend, the most recent one you just broke up with, she knows you're homeless?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we walked here, and after 2 days in Titusville, I'm trying to run around, find resources, gather supplies so we can continue up north. Strangest breakup line I ever heard. She said, quote, "You are the most kindest man I've ever met, but it's over between us." And I'm like, why?
Well, sometimes people just have a difference of whatever.
She walked off on me. It was like, I've been stranded here for the last month ever since.
And where are you trying to, ideally, where would you go if you could?
Well, our original plans were actually Tennessee, where she might actually still have some family there. And I loved, Tennessee. I remember it when I've done work there. Tennessee Aquarium I did a show for. NASCAR Speed Park I did a show for.
But you're not with her anymore, so where do you want to go by yourself now?
I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards Austin, Texas.
Okay. Do you have any family or friends there? Like why?
I have friends there. Texas, I think, is kind of a logical place to be. I mean, the economy's good there. It has its own power grid, too. I mean, that state has its own power grid.
Okay.
Which, unfortunately, our power grid is very vulnerable in this country.
Right. I don't disagree with that. So, what kind of work have you been doing lately to support yourself, if any?
The last 3 years, I haven't done anything. Like I said, I came back to Florida, and I told my daughter, no, I'm coming back. It's like, we'll see how things go.
Well, how do you make it on a day-to-day basis if you're not working stuff? Do you receive food stamps?
No.
Do you get welfare?
No.
Do you have one of those things known on the street as an Obama phone?
Nope.
So you don't have one of those free phones from the government?
No.
No food stamps and no other government benefits. So how are you feeding yourself on a daily basis?
Food pantries, they help. There's a Salvation Army here in town.
And how about clothing? Like how many articles of clothing? Like, for instance, how many shirts would you say you own?
Maybe 5 now.
And how about shorts or pants?
Yeah, a couple pairs of shorts. My backpack got stolen a couple weeks ago with my only pair of long pants, which was not a fun thing through that cold snap we just had.
Right, and more is on the way. How about an ID? Do you have an ID, or was that stolen? Okay,
I've got ID, Social Security card.
That's good. Well, a lot of guys have that stolen on the street.
Oh yeah, that's happened to me more than once. When I was homeless in Orlando.
And you have a decent pair of shoes right now, it looks like.
Nah, not really.
Not really?
Nah, not really.
Well, I guess now that I look at them a little closer, they are falling apart.
You look at the bottom of those. No, they're not fine.
Oh, okay.
Being homeless is very hard on shoes, I've found out.
Yeah. Well, what size shoe do you wear?
About 11 and a half. I mean, these are 12s.
Okay.
It kind of depends on the brand.
Okay. So maybe if one of my viewers gets in touch with me and they got a pair of shoes about that size, you could use them.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was, very much thinking, okay, I probably should get out of Titusville. I like Titusville. It's a cool little town. I mean, I've never really spent any time here before I ended up here.
Well, how long have you been here right now?
About a month.
So you've been here a month.
I mean, I used to drive through because, I used to go to Playa Linda all the time. That was always my beach. So I'd have to go through Titusville to get there.
So do you have a car right now?
No,
do you have a bicycle?
No.
Like, how do you get around?
I fell behind in child support. They took my license. Like, that's going to help me pay it.
Right.
But my daughter's grown now. Now, one of the reasons why I gave up is because I paid so much in child support, the judge wouldn't lower it. And
So
I can't find any, work that pays me even a third of what I used to make.
Right.
I would literally end up homeless working 40 hours a week.
Right.
I'm like, okay, here, I'm trying, but...
Right, minimum wage just doesn't cut it. You can't live on that.
Like I said, getting back in the job market for the first time since 1989 was a rude shock.
Wow. So what do you kind of envision is next for you? Like, are you happy being homeless? Do you want...
No, not really.
No?
I was actually trying to formulate plans to get myself to Daytona because they do have a homeless shelter there, and even if I have to do day labor, I could hunker down there for a few weeks' work.
So you're willing to work and do whatever you have to do?
Oh yeah, shoot, I'll mow people's lawns if I had the opportunity, but I don't know anybody here.
Right.
Aside from people I met on the streets.
What's your health like?
Good.
So you're physically healthy, you can do the work. And how about your interactions with law enforcement? Have you ever been arrested?
Oh, yeah.
And what have you been arrested for?
For the most part, panhandling, or as the Orange County ordinance says, soliciting without a permit. I got popped once for an open container of beer.
Okay. So minor stuff.
Yeah.
No bank robberies.
No felonies.
Right. Okay.
No, it's no felonies.
So really, what most people consider bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit
Pretty much.
Stuff, right. So with the child support, do you have a warrant out right now, or?
Oh no, they took my license.
So that's kind of cleared up, and because she's 20 years old. Well, what I'm saying is you owe the money.
I still have to pay arrears.
And how much do you think you owe in arrears?
I really don't know. I really don't know. Now that I think about it, maybe even on, some BS minimum wage, I could actually make it, because now at least I'm just going to have to pay the arrears. Now that
right. You can set up a payment plan.
But after 3 years of just trying like crazy to make it, but every time 3-4 weeks later that child support hits, within a couple weeks I'm homeless. Week after that I lose my job.
Yeah, right.
It's like
wow. So you have a clean driver's license. You don't have. It's not suspended, or
it's suspended.
Well, it's suspended because of child support. But I'm saying, like, you don't have any DUIs on it, or unpaid traffic tickets, or any of that kind of stuff.
Court costs from Orlando that I haven't been able to pay, stuff like that. I'd probably have to pay that before I can get it back.
Right. Okay. Well, it sounds. That's reasonable. That's kind of normal stuff. It's kind of how it goes.
Yeah.
So, where have you been sleeping here in Titusville? Are you in the woods? Are you at a park bench? A little of both, behind a gas station?
I'm not going to say specifically.
Well, you don't have to say specifically, but just tell me, like, are you doing in the woods? Are you staying
park areas,
areas?
In front of, next to abandoned buildings, stuff like that.
Do you have a tent?
No.
How about, do you have blankets? How are you?
I have a sleeping bag.
You have a sleeping bag, okay. Well, you're a little better off than some people, because you got the sleeping bag.
Oh, yeah, somebody gave me that a few weeks ago.
Yeah, wow.
That was a blessing.
I'll bet that was. So, if any of your family or friends were to see this video, do you have any messages for them? Is there anything you'd like them to know? Tell your daughter how you feel about her?
I still keep in touch with her by Facebook, but
you do?
She's pretty bad.
Okay.
Brevard County Library, $1 to get on the internet for 2 hours, better than the $5 they charge in Orlando if you don't have a library card.
So anybody else that you might have a message for? Is there anything you'd like the viewer to know about yourself that we haven't talked about?
No,
No, you pretty much
I don't
said
know.
all you had to say.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah. So are you finding it tough being homeless on the streets here in Titusville? Is it tough, or is it kind of pretty easy?
it's tough. It's tough, but I manage.
Wow. Okay. Well, cool, man. I appreciate you letting us get to know you and all that good stuff. Is there anything that you really need right now that you're struggling with? Well, you need some shoes. And what's another immediate need that you have right now?
Now, the one thing is lack of work. That's the thing that.
So you need a job. You want a job.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I was going to try to make my way to Daytona, because at least there, I mean, I would have a roof over my head, even if it's a homeless shelter.
Right, in a shelter, and then you'd be able to look for work.
You know, they got day labor places. I could do day labor for, I mean, 2 days of work, I'd have enough to buy a phone.
Okay.
You know, a couple weeks of work, I'd have some money socked away, be able to get a bus ticket to, you know, I really wanted to go to Austin, like I was saying.
So how could I get a hold of you then if somebody comes at me and says, hey, I've got a pair of shoes for them, or they want to offer you a job? How would I be able to get in touch with you to let you know these things? Where could I find you?
Either in this park or that park for the most part while I'm in Titusville, or my email is jeffreysh2568@yahoo.com.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, when I get online, I do check that.
Okay, awesome.
That's really the only
right,
communication I have right now.
Stay in contact with
I mean,
people.
I wish I could. Somebody here was saying they were going to work me some, but that just, 2 weeks of that, it's like, okay, well, I haven't had any work yet. Right. 2 days, at least I could have gotten a phone.
Right. Well, listen, man, I appreciate you taking a minute and letting us get to know you. And thanks for watching.